We just witnessed what is easily the best grand finals in Overwatch history, which is easy to say because normally they're not great. It's typical for one team to be way head and shoulders above the rest, or for the patch meta to be regrettable. Still have complaints about the format and the balanced team decisions, at least how they pertain to pro play, but we'll save that for a separate video, and in this moment, highlight the stellar Overwatch we got to witness. Between the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel, we saw two very different interpretations on the meta, and Shock seemed determined to make me want to eat my words, trying to prove that a Sojourn can indeed solo carry an entire team. The league MVP proper popped off in this match, playing audacious positions far out in front, the kind that I've been saying in videos you just gotta punish. The kill potential of Sojourn is so ridiculously high. If she squares up on you in the open space, swinging on a big angle, she must be punished. But if you're the best player in the league and you can land the rail headshots, well, you can warrant any position on the map. There was times in this series where it looked like Proper had his foot on the gas and wasn't gonna let off. His counterpart on the Dallas Fuel, Edison, was showing signs of physical discomfort. And I know the feeling, man, because it is embarrassing to die in some of the ways that the Dallas Fuel was falling to Proper, playing positions he's not supposed to get away with. But in a long, drawn-out 7-map series, Dallas Fuel's tactical understanding of the metagame and just Overwatch, lots of fundamentals with using ultimates, playing the objective and teamwork, and a bit of Edison, I think, getting a bit of his confidence back later in the series, he landed a lot of rails too, was the recipe for Dallas to swing this one back. There's a few plays I want to break down specifically that either led to the Shock's downfall or Dallas's rise. A huge push map blunder. With a minute left, Shock are sitting on a bankload of ultimates, a huge advantage. But as we know, Dallas are experts at dodging ultimate fights and ult value. The big tip we can learn from their gameplay is to walk towards an engage safely. There's a key Overwatch term that you need to learn called pathing. Pathing is the route you take on the map to get to the fight. Some paths are safer than others, more efficient, less efficient, but the key to outplaying ultimates is that you need to take the safe one that you don't need to use cooldowns to get to. Dallas, knowing this and safely navigating the map, allowed them to walk to the fight, to use their hero mobility buttons to dodge away. Doing this repeatedly, dodging off of the robot, allowed for their movement to hard counter the huge ult advantage that the Shock were building up. And then on top of that, probably the biggest blunder of the grand finals. It can be hard to see in the action of everything, with red in your eyes, focusing down a wall-riding Lucio miles out in the distance, but this turned out, I think, to be the most glaring mistake in the grand final. Tank players, try to remember you are the raid boss of the team. So even chasing down the most valuable target on the enemy team, let's say the Sojourn, sometimes isn't worth replacing your body out of the team fight, especially not for a Lucio, whose healing aura and damage is affecting no one way out in the streets phase of the map, while the robot is nearing the checkpoint anyway. You have Primal, you have a 2-second leap cooldown, you don't have an excuse to be out of position for this long. This is the kind of mismatch play and mistake that on the enemy team, Fearless won't make, which grants him the Grand Finals MVP by the end of it. We don't have the replay viewer, and it's hard to get a read of what's going on here, but I can guarantee you that having a tank in the relevant fight, while the other tank is fighting a Lucio, is a massive uptrade for the Dallas Fuel, and in a position where you just need to press Q towards the enemy team and maintain momentum, well, it's a tactical mistake that Shock are going to look back on, and I'm sure Super is going to feel real validated in asking the Shock coaches to fly him out to sub in to play Winston.
If Shock wants to fly me out right now, I will go to the airport. I'll pack my really quickly. I'll end stream. I'll go to the airport. I will play for them tomorrow.
The ult advantage the Shock did have got drained out until Dallas got their own ults, pressed Q on the Bob. It's not complicated. They take this map in a spot where it looked like Shock was about to put their boot on the neck of Dallas's dreams of finally winning a grand final. Then on Route 66, finally, they started to sniff out the aggressive timings that Proper was going for. Again, that buzzword for you, pathing, holding the cart underneath Big Earls is safe from most of the railgun's aggression. Biding their time, waiting, luring in the Proper flank, and flanking his flank made them prepared to not die to him taking an aggressive position. Rotating like this, avoiding death, was a key reason why they won Route 66 and tied up the series. But for the final section of the video, I want to highlight an unsung hero. There's a few plays in this grand final where Fielder made some Giga Brain impact support plays that turned the tide. Here's another team fight where Dallas is dodging the ultimates from the Shock, getting off of the cart, luring the fight to the fringes. And as Shock pursue up the stairs, right at the last moment of death, the Suzu pops to protect the fleeing Dallas members. Healing comes through, and it turns what would have been a cleanup fight into a neutral win for Dallas, and now they'll start building their ults. It's these clutch moments where you win when you're not supposed to, dodging the things that are supposed to be free kills, that turn for massive economy wins for Dallas, and that seems to be a tactical aspect of the Shock's play that isn't really developed in this season. In the final map in Coliseo, Proper does his Proper thing and gets the first pick of the game. But watch carefully how the Dallas Fuel don't give anything up for free. They linger around the cart, play around the mini health pack, and are still farming up for mini objectives, such as working towards your ultimate and stalling the objective. So even in all of these fights, it looks like the Shock are ahead and winning. Dallas refuses to say die and even get an exit while down 2 members, punishing Proper for being too close into the play. And so because of that, the thing that actually scores the game, the objective, Shock barely get an advantage on and play to retreat anyway. And what in the kill feed looked like a big advantage, you look up to the ultimates and the objective and it's like nothing happened really. You just fought for 2 minutes for nothing. Then back to Fielder again on the fringes of the fight, is able to dodge away from the aggression, gets away from the Winston at chip health, plays one side of the fight, teleports to the other, Suzu's to survive, and eventually is able to both find the kunai shots on Proper on his typical flanks that they finally started to sniff out, clutch healing in time for his team, and a Suzu on Sparkle's Death Blossom guarantees the team fight swing. And at this point, with getting an actual team wipe, right, the play that actually matters, not the little picks here or there, not the stagger cleanup fights, but a team wipe to get them off the robot to advance the objective. Well, now for the rest of the map, the Dallas Fuel are allowed to play at an advantage. Of course, Edison is going to hit some nasty rails in a few sequences as well. He turns up to play by the second half of the series, at least equaling out the carry of Proper, but it's with that advantage and the tactical gameplay of how to dodge and reinstate ults. Here, the Kitsune Rush comes down, and having all of their mobility cooldowns, they just fly away like it never even happened, wrapped around instantly back onto the robot, pop on their own Kitsune Rush, and before you know it, that was a team fight that the Shock were intending to win using their most important ult. Then a haymaker turns the corner, taking them out instead. This series looked like Proper was cashing in his MVP for the grand finals as well today. Dallas looked scared to execute, sluggish at times, visibly nervous on stage, playing against the greatest Overwatch rookie anyone's ever seen. But with enough time and enough maps, were able to settle down and compose themselves and play intelligent Overwatch. And it's great to see that win, because I didn't want to have to eat crow when a hotshot Sojourn player was the grand finals MVP, and the reason why the Shock won it, I was getting nervous, but he surely made it entertaining. But as it turns out in Overwatch, teamwork and tactics are still the name of the game. Push is a game mode that's all about economy. It looks like it's about deathmatching, but really what matters is the ultimate fights, because that's what clears off the cart and actually advances the objective. The little fights in between often don't matter as much, but your teamwork does. And those little advantages you start tactically eventually snowball later, because even as it looks like the Shock have a chance to make some wacky comeback, just based on respawn advantage alone, Dallas is able to just walk back onto the robot, clear the cart, and the superior gameplay of Fearless, of course, going hard in the paint, cleaning up the cart. By the end of it, Dallas makes it look easy, finally get their grand finals win, and the look on Proper's face at the end of it just breaks your heart, man. I feel the only thing he could be thinking right now is, I guess I should have hit more rails. Oh man, that's rough. And this will be an interesting plot line to follow in the league, because Proper is head and shoulders the best player in the world, but still wasn't able to convert a trophy. This is a typical problem in sports that players tend to have, and I think he might want to start having some conversations with the management to enlist him a little bit of help, because frankly, the ways they were winning maps was based on Proper breaking the rules of Overwatch in a way. And it's not surprising that that only lasted them so long. While it was entertaining to see him position loosely out in front, playing for shotgun kills with the railgun, playing relaxed like that as if it's a scrim, eventually opened up for the teamwork tactical brilliance of Dallas to finish out the grand finals. We've got more videos coming down the line, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to actually get notified when our new videos come out. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.